Right over here.
Mr. President, Boaz Bismuth, Israeli journalist from Isreal Hayom daily newspaper. Mr. President, I covered the negotiations with Iran, nuclear negotiations, Geneva 2009, Istanbul 2010,
Right.
and I came back now from Geneva again, where you could see the big change was not only on Iran's side, but also on the P5+1 side, meaning they were very eager to reach an agreement. Coming back from Geneva, we learned, and some of us had known before, the secret talks America had with Iran, and we know the concern you have on the Israeli security. We're very grateful, but how does it coincide with your secret negotiations Washington had with Tehran? Thank you.
Hey, you know, the truth is that, without going into the details, there weren't a lot of secret negotiations. Essentially what happened, and we were very clear and transparent about this, is that from the time I took office, I said we would reach out to Iran and we would let them know we're prepared to open up a diplomatic channel. After Rouhani was elected, there was some acceleration leading up to the UN General Assembly. You'll recall that Rouhani was engaging in what was termed a charm offensive, right? And he was going around talking to folks. And at that point, it made sense for us to see, all right, how serious are you potentially about having these conversations? They did not get highly substantive in the first several meetings, but were much more exploring how much room, in fact, did they have to get something done. And then as soon as they began to get more technical, at that point, they converged with the P5+1 discussions. I will say this. The fact of Rouhani's election, it's been said that there's no difference between him and Ahmadinejad except that he's more charming. I think that understates the shift in politics that took place in this election. Obviously, Rouhani is part of the Iranian establishment, and I think we have to assume that his ideology is one that is hostile to the United States and to Israel. But what he also represents is the desire on the part of the Iranian people for a change of direction. And we should not underestimate or entirely dismiss a shift in how the Iranian people want to interact with the world. You know, there's a lot of change that's going to be taking place in the Middle East over the next decade. And wherever we see the impulses of a people to move away from conflict, violence, and towards diplomatic resolution of conflicts, we should be ready and prepared to engage them, understanding, though, that ultimately it's not what you say, it's what you do. And we have to be vigilant about maintaining our security postures, not be naive about the dangers that an Iranian regime pose, fight them wherever they're engaging in terrorism or actions that are hostile to us or our allies. But we have to not constantly assume that it's not possible for Iran, like any country, to change over time. It may not be likely. You know, if you ask me what is the likelihood that we're able to arrive at the end state that I was just describing earlier, I wouldn't say that it's more than 50-50. But we have to try.